Thank you all for coming to the Winter City Council meeting for Monday, March 6th, 2023. This time, the City of Winter will do roll call.
Councilman Burns is noted as absent. Councilman Clay.
Here.
Councilman Hockett.
Here.
Councilman Klunt.
Here.
Councilman Schramm.
Here.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Here.
If you'd please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, having had time to review your packets, are there any conflicts of interest in this evening's agendas? Hearing and seeing none, the City of Winter will move on to consent agenda for this evening. Council, having had time to review your packets, is there a motion on this evening's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Klunt has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. That motion was seconded by Councilman Hockett. Floor is open to comment or question, Council.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, for the public's information, number 2 under consent agenda is the resignation of Rich Stevens from the Public Works, who is the Parks and Cemetery Superintendent.
Any other comments or question? Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of approving this evening's consent agenda, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion will carry unanimously 5-0. Council, having had time to review your packets, is there a motion on this evening's agenda as presented?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Councilman Clay has made the motion to approve the agenda as presented. Councilman Sprinkle has seconded the agenda. Comments or questions, Council?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Clay and Mr. Sprinkle, if you could include in your motion to remove item number 7 per the request of our city engineer.
Councilman Clay, would you like to amend your agenda or your motion?
Sure thing.
Councilman Sprinkle?
Yes.
Approve the second. Any other comment or question?
Mr. Mayor, does it matter that item number 5 is South Central Economic Development?
5.
Under recognition of visitors?
No. I think that will be fine.
Okay.
Any other comment or question? Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of approving this evening's agenda with the removal of item number 7 under new business, if you would please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. City of Winter will now move on to recognition of visitors and communications. Tonight there are 5 items under there. We will start with public input. The City of Winter makes available a 10-minute window for anybody to address the City of Winter Council. Is there public input tonight? Seeing and hearing none, City of Winter will move on to item number 2, our fuel bids. At this time, Chair will turn it over to the City Finance Officer.
Fuel bids for the week of, sorry, my email is being slow. Last week, the last 2 weeks, actually, number 2 dyed diesel has gone to Volun Oil, number 1 diesel to Volun Oil, 50/50 to Volun Oil, regular unleaded to Volun Oil, propane to CHS, and fuel oil to Volun Oil.
City of Winter will now move on to item number 3. Item number 3 tonight is the Executive Proclamation for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. The City of Winter, at this time, would like to make an executive proclamation. The City of Winter and the Office of the Mayor would like to state, whereas individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, their family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers encourage everyone to focus on the abilities of all people. And whereas the most effective way to increase this awareness is through everyone's active participation in community activities and openness to learn and acknowledge each individual's contribution. And whereas opportunities for citizens with intellectual and developmental disabilities to function as independently and productively as possible must be fostered in our community. And whereas we encourage all citizens to support opportunities for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in our community, including full access to education, housing, employment, and recreational activities. And whereas individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities deserve nothing less. Now, therefore, I, Jody Brozick, as Mayor of the City of Winter, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. At this time, if the group would like to stand over here, I would like to go ahead and give you this proclamation and grab a picture with the group. Picture.
Yeah. I was listening to you.
Oh. Yeah, you want to stand like Kathy or somebody?
Yeah, yeah, it's both Mel and
Both.
Ian, yeah.
Used to fire goes on call.
Yeah.
12:50. Okay, we're ready right here?
That's a bit small. I don't think they have to go on call. You gotta show up, but ask.
Yeah.
Do fire, but then show up for a fire call.
It's in the city limits. A couple of years ago, from 10 to 12.
Just show up.
They just have to show up. He said a couple of years ago, he raised from 10 to 12. Big
CPI.
Got everybody in a tax mess.
Yeah. We have two more scheduled guests here tonight under recognition of visitors. I don't know if you'd like to take them both at the same time or separately, but the Winter Area Chamber of Commerce and South Central Economic Development Corporation. You can have both spots, Mike Scott, if you'd like, sir. 10 minutes, you have the full.
Just one thing, I don't know if I gave this I was supposed to attend the last meeting, but I was sick. I don't know if Chandra is able to pass these out to you as well. Just a couple of handouts. I'm going to start on the Chamber of Commerce, but first of all, thank you for allowing me to come tonight. I'm here tonight representing the Chamber of Commerce and its current membership of over 180 businesses. The purpose of the Chamber is to promote civic, commercial, agriculture, economic, educational, and general business interests in the Winter area. Our hope is the city of Winter recognizes the Chamber as an investment benefiting the taxpayers of Winter and not just an line item expense. We as the Chamber Board feel we bring a lot to the community, both in quality of life and actually tax dollar growth. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think I got this from Chandra, right, that our sales tax revenue was up again this year, which I think is outstanding. We also feel that both the Chamber and South Central Developments had a role in that increase over those last several years as well. Another thing that's been we think is real positive for the city that the Chamber that we do is our events. I think you're all aware of the events that we've had, promotions, through our different promotions, through holiday promotions and other promotions, our marketing that we do, our website, Facebook, digital marketing, print, radio, and most recently attended another year at Pheasant Fest in Minneapolis. We hope the City Council sees the impact of this on the community with our events. I just want to highlight a few of our events. Pheasant Fest, we've done that for a number of years, and this year was in Minneapolis. There's 33,000 people there. We did this as a joint venture again with our chamber and Pheasants, our local Pheasants Forever chapter attended that again to help promote our community. We've hosted 3 summer nights. We probably estimated 300 to 400 people per event for those summer nights, bringing more people to town. Barbecue Pit Row and Car Show, that's an estimate of 800 to 1,000 people. And that's out-of-town teams as well as out-of-town car people coming to the community as well. Ranch Bronc Bull Ride, we probably estimate 700 to 800 people attend that on a yearly basis, and we do get our fair share of out-of-town people. A couple of improved events that we've done, Crazy Days and Ladies Night, I think those have been very successful. Our holiday promotion, our Sharpshooter Classic, we bring over 100 hunters to town for that. We've been getting more out-of-town hunters. That's been very good. Parade of Lights, I'm sure you've all know the Parade of Lights, that people come to see that. The parade route's full. This year I thought was great, probably a record year when we had Santa Claus and other activities. We had over 240 kids sent on Santa's lap this year during our promotion. Our holiday retail promotion. In addition to our events, the Chamber office answers questions, handouts, lots of getting people to the right connection. This is both helping our members, helping our people that live in Winter, but as well as people moving to Winter, get many calls there, and also hunting. We take many phone calls, many emails as far as helping our hunters come to the area. Another thing that's kind of exciting for us, we have just authorized the work to begin on a new and improved website. This, I think, has been a long time coming. In addition to the website costs, we're going to be looking at photography, drone footage, and also want a series of videos to go along with that website. We really want to improve that website tremendously with what we're doing. We also are planning to assist South Central Development in planning a downtown space. You can see we've accomplished a lot this past year. I know several of you have helped us with some of our events. I hope all of you get an opportunity to at least attend our events and see the positive side we've had with those. On behalf of the Chamber, we are requesting $25,000 this year. We appreciate what the city has done and hope they'll continue to support us. Okay. To South Central?
Yes, sir.
Okay. South Central Development, as I provided the handout for you, showing our focus, our focus board members and some of our recent accomplishments. South Central Development Corporation is involved in promoting and recruitment of businesses, but also include the Main Street revitalization, employee recruitment, revolving loan fund, and community projects. One of the couple of the areas were helpful in getting 4 new businesses to town this year. We have a conservative estimate with those businesses, if they are successful, probably $15,000 to $20,000 a year in sales tax revenue. Just if you'd had one business that's successful out of those, if they can average $300,000 a year, what are we looking at, $6,000 worth of sales tax? Over 10 years, that'd be $60,000. So hopefully all of the 4 businesses will be successful. You know, with that, let me see where I'm at here. You know, I guess the positive side of those 4 businesses will have an increase in sales tax dollars for the city, an increase of utilities for the city, and it created over 20 jobs with those, and also property tax. I know the city gets a portion of the property tax. One thing I want to back up on, over the last 5 years, South Central has done over 30 loans for businesses over the last 5 years. So I think we try to fit a role into that. We're actively involved in business recruitment. I know there's 3 or 4 businesses I've been working on this year. I know Jeremy's known a couple of them that I've been working with, trying to get to come here. One of the real positives, we were able to help recruit a young attorney this year and work with a rural attorney incentive program. That's been successful. We're actually looking at possibly 1 to 2 more people we're looking at recruiting. We've been talking to the other attorneys in town. We've been involved in our recruiting businesses. Just one, I know I've been working with another gentleman in town. We've been trying to recruit this gentleman from Minneapolis, actually St. Paul, to move. He wants to move his business to South Dakota. I went and met with him when I was at Pheasant Fest, spent a morning with him at his business. Another business we're actively recruiting. We're back involved with a company that makes pallets. I know, Jody, we invited you to meet with Lane. I think Austin has a little bit of idea of what this company is. That's something we're continue contact with, and hopefully over several years, maybe we can see that happening. We're looking at probably 30 jobs with that, and it's still got a long ways to go, but it's definitely going in the right direction. We continue to offer a facade grant to help in revitalization. We took on the renovation of the Covey building. We have that completed, and we've just made that for sale. I think, Jody, you've seen it. I think it turned out nice.
Exceptional.
Yeah, by doing this is making another building available on Main Street. Our goal is 1 business at a time, and then hopefully with that potential comes new business, which comes additional sales tax revenue and also utilities for the city. So hopefully we can continue to grow on that. We spent time and resources looking into a potential community daycare, currently on standstill with that, but we have worked on that. We've met with a firm to look at creating some designs in a future downtown space. As our local economic development office, I am in contact with people looking to create new businesses, expand businesses, also work a lot with the state GOED office as well. That's one of my roles with economic development. Our board feels we've had a good year. I think we've accomplished quite a bit. You know, some of our goals that we were shooting for, we have achieved. We're going with more. We felt we bring it through the sales tax, or utilities, recruiting occupations of need for potential new businesses. South Central Development is requesting $35,000 for this upcoming year. South Central wants to work with the city and continue making Winter a great place to live and work. So that's our 2 requests, both from the Chamber of Commerce and South Central Development Corporation.
At this time, I would move to suspend the rules and move us from recognition of visitors to new business items, number 1, and number 2 under new business. Council. Moving to new business, is there a motion on item number 1?
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that we donate $25,000 to the Winter Area Chamber.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Schramm has made the motion to approve a donation request in the amount of $25,000 to the Winter Area Chamber. I do believe Councilman Clay had it by a nose.
Cleaner is not sinuses.
At that time, this opens the floor to comments or questions by council. Director Mike Scott, if there are any. Hearing and seeing no questions at this time, Chair will call a roll call vote. Councilman Clemens,
Yes.
Councilman Hockett,
Yes.
Councilman Sprinkle,
Yes.
Councilman Clay,
Yes.
and Councilman Schramm.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item number 2 under new business. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make it, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation request of $25,000 to South Central Economic Development.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Blunt has made the motion to approve a donation request of $25,000 to South Central Economic Development Corporation. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. The floor is open to comments or questions.
Did they say 25 or 35,000?
Oh, I think the donation request was 35,000. If, so was it initially a request of 25,000, or was that just our budgeted amount? I know we budgeted 25,000 for it.
Right, I don't remember the initial request. I'm going to defer to City Attorney Gonzalez.
I would say that their initial request was $35,000, and their initial request for the chamber, I believe, was at $22,000.
25,000.
It was at 25, I apologize. And at the time of our budget retreat, council set the budget 25,000 each.
So last year, how did, we short funded the request of last year, and we discussed coming back and visiting with us later in the year and to see where our budget was at that time. Mr. Mayor, I know we ended the year on the plus side on that of last year. Apparently, nobody came back. We didn't have any second conversations with them.
With who?
South Central Economic Development, or the Chamber at that time. Remember, they were here visiting with us, and we're like, we're gonna go at this level at this point in time, but come back with us later the year, we'll take a look at our budget. That obviously did not happen.
There was never a second request after that initial one.
That was my question.
No, there wasn't last year.
I didn't believe there was.
That was
Thank you
my
for the
question, okay.
clarification. Any other questions, Director Scott?
I think we need to consider fully funding at a $35,000 level this year.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make it in a motion that we would fund South Central Economic Development at $35,000.
Is there a second?
I think we already had a motion for the 25, did we not?
We do. We got a motion and a second on the
You
floor.
can have, you have a motion, and you can have another motion within that motion. Yes.
It's basically amending the original motion by your motion for the new amount.
And if I'm correct, Mr. Mayor, if the second, then we vote on this one, but if nobody seconds it, it dies for the lack of second, then we go back to the original motion.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Councilman.
okay.
So Councilman Clay has made a motion for a donation request of $35,000 to South Central Economic Development Corporation. Is there a second to this motion? Hearing a lack of a second, that motion will die for a lack of a second. And we'll move back to the original motion. Is there any other further comment or question, council?
I think as we talked in budget, we're still open to a conversation later in the year if there's more funding needed.
Absolutely.
So-
Part of the process initially is You come in with the budget request of council for appropriation of funds. Councilman Clay has alluded to at the end of last year, $141,000, actually in contingency, I think there remained $159,000, $56,000. In our other lines, $141,000 remained, so about $289,000 went back to the general fund unappropriated cash, if my memory serves me correct. There is an opportunity at that time to come back later. The initial appropriation was for $25,000, just to explain the process. That's my explanation.
I feel we need to strongly consider the $35,000. Can I speak? Is there a motion on the floor? I think we strongly need to consider the supporting of $35,000, doing a lot of good in the community. We need to keep pushing forward and supporting them and doing well. And if we run short in our contingency fund this year, we can do a supplemental budget and pull out of the general fund of the 280. No, that's not our checkbook. I call it our checkbook. Our contingency fund, we did not use $141,000 last year. We have $300,000 again in our council checkbook here. We have a secondary checkbook in the general fund that we can write ourselves a check back. That's how I feel, how I look at it. I think we should fully consider supporting at $35,000.
Any other comment or question, council?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, just to clarify how, maybe we didn't clarify it for South Central Economic Development last time. Ultimately, what they would need to do is ask to come to a finance committee and ask, I mean, if it only goes for the $25,000 tonight, they could attend and ask for the additional $10,000 out of contingency. Finance committee has the ability to forward that on then to full council at that time if they were to choose to, if it doesn't go any further from tonight.
Council, any final comment? Hearing none, Chair will call a roll call vote. Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
Councilman Clay.
No.
Councilman Schramm.
Aye.
Councilman Klein.
Yes.
The ayes have it. This motion will pass with a majority 4-1 vote.
Would you mind reading what the motion was, just since there was two out there?
Yeah.
For clarification.
For the public, the original motion was to approve a donation request of $25,000 to South Central Economic Development Corporation. That was a motion by Councilman Clunt, seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. There was a second motion put on the table to donate a request of $35,000 to South Central Economic Development Corporation, which died for a lack of a second. On a roll call vote, the motion will pass for a donation request of $25,000 to South Central Economic Development Corporation by a majority 4-1 vote. At this time, I will suspend the rules and move back to recognition of visitors and conclude that section of our meeting. There are no department reports for this evening, so we'll move on to bid openings. And this afternoon at 1 p.m., the City of Winter held a bid opening in the City Hall. Attending the meeting were Finance Officer Phillips, Parks and Cemetery Superintendent Stevens. There were 3 bids that were offered by the City of Winter. They were concessions at McDonald's, Bailey's, and Leahy Bowl. No bids were originally received for McDonald's nor Bailey's Field. At that time, at approximately 1:15, Nell Schlomer stopped in at 1:15 wanting to put in for McDonald's Field. And she's willing to consider Bailey's as well if no one else would offer. It was the recommendation of Parks and Cemetery Superintendent Stevens to allow Ms. Schlomer the 2023 year bid at McDonald's Park. And then for Leahy Bowl, the City of Winter received 1 bid, and that was from the Winter Baseball Association. It was a $0 bid with the required $100 deposit, and insurance was made available. And as the only bid received, it was the recommendation of Parks and Cemetery Superintendent Stevens to award the bid to the Winter Baseball Association. That concludes bid openings. And at this time, the City of Winter will move on to public hearings. Tonight, the City of Winter has 2 public hearings. The first public hearing is for an on-sale special event application for the Black Lab for a wedding reception at St. Mary's Hall on June 10th and 11th. At this time, is there any public input into this special event application? Hearing no public input, council, is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the on-sale special event application for the Black Lab for a wedding reception at St. Mary's Hall on June 10th and 11th.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Councilman Clay has made a motion to approve the on-sale special event application for the Black Lab for a wedding reception at St. Mary's Hall on June 10th and 11th. The motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. Floor is open to comments or questions from council.
Again, Mrs. Phillips, I always got to ask if you don't mention it. Normally, you always mention it now because I've asked so often, but all the paperwork's filed, everything's in order, we're good, set, all good to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment or question? Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of approving the on-sale special event application for the Black Lab for a wedding reception at St. Mary's Hall on June 10th and 11th, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Item number 2. Is there any public input on the on-sale special event application for the Elks Club for Springfest at St. Mary's Hall on June 3rd and 4th? Seeing and hearing none, Chair will move on. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the on-sale special event application for the Elks Club for a Spring Fest at St. Mary's Hall on June 3rd and 4th.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to approve the special event application for the Elks Club for a Spring Fest at St. Mary's Hall on June 3rd and 4th. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. Floor is open for comment or question.
For the public's information, everything has been turned in and we are good to go on the paperwork.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, Chair will call the question. Council, all those in favor of approving this special event application for the Elks Club for Springfest at St. Mary's Hall on June 3rd and 4th, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. That concludes public hearings. There are no Board of Adjustments for this evening. The City of Winter at this time will move on to old business, and tonight under old business, there are 2 items to be considered. Item number 1, Council, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we bring the corrections food service agreement off the table.
Second.
Councilman Hockett has made a motion to bring the Corrections Food Service Agreement off the table. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. All those in favor of bringing the Corrections Food Service item off the table, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion is passed unanimously, 5-0. Item number 2, under old business, Council, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion we award the corrections food service bid to Trinity Services Group.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Schramm has made a motion to award the corrections food service bid to Trinity Food Service Group. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett. The floor is open to comment or question.
Mr. Mayor, I would like it just noted, their title is Trinity Services Group, not Trinity Food Service Group, just FYI.
Any other comment or question? Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
Councilman Clay.
Yes.
Councilman Schramm.
Aye.
Councilman Clint.
Yes.
And Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. That concludes old business. City of Winter will move on to new business. Items 1 and 2 have been previously considered and resolved. Item 7 has been removed. We'll move on to item number 3 under new business. Council, is there a motion?
I will make the motion that we send a 90-day cancellation to Summit Foods.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
Councilman Hockett has made the motion to actually send a 90-day cancellation to Summit Foods. That motion was seconded by Councilman Clunt. Floor is open to comment or question. City Attorney. Do you care to comment?
Only the fact that it requires notice go out as an official notice from this body to the provider prior to the 90-day date, which then concludes that contract on the same date that the new entity would take over. So that'll be the contract termination date contained within the notice letter will be the same.
Any other question, council? Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Clay.
Yes.
Councilman Schramm.
Aye.
Councilman Clunt.
Yes.
Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
And Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. Item number 4. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Schoenfish and Company, Inc. for the 2022 annual report and audit.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'd second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Clunt has made a motion to approve the agreement with Schoenfish and Company Incorporated for the 2022 annual report and audit. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. Floor is open to questions or comment, council.
What did I miss? I didn't get it all read. There's a lot of words in that sucker.
It's basically, it's identical to the one that council has adopted in the last several years. It's probably the easiest way to explain it, but it's been gone over by myself multiple times, just making sure that everything is containing the appropriate elements of it, but
You went over it a lot of times because there's a lot of words in that?
I've been over this one once,
Okay,
but
all right.
identical one about every year.
One of the major portions of it is stating that they are actually audited by a third party as well, and legislative audit requires that of them. And pending what this council decided to do tonight, they are actually scheduled to be here on March 22nd. In case
Look
anybody
forward
needs
to
to
it.
catch up on anything.
And Jeremy, auditor's language is a little different than what we understand. I'll have you.
Have you ever read an insurance policy?
That's why you buy an agent.
That's right.
In my humble opinion, this one is much easier to read than a lot of insurance policies.
Council, any other questions? Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Schramm.
Aye.
Councilman Clunt.
Yes.
Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
And Councilman Clay.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Item number 5 tonight, council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the concession stands bid to Winter Baseball Association for Leahy Bowl and Nell Schlomer for McDonald's Field.
Very good. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Hockett. Councilman Sprinkle has
Here's
made...
what I found.
Councilman Sprinkle has made a motion to award the concession stand bid to the Winter Baseball Association for Leahy Bowl and Neil Schlomer for McDonald's Field. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Hockett. Floor is open to comment or question.
Could that motion include making Nell, officially making Nell an offer for Bailey's, or would that be a different?
That'd be a different motion.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to ask, with regard to the bid from the Baseball Association for Leahy, is that for 3 years?
Yes, I apologize. So Winter Baseball Association is for 3 years. So if your motion would include for 3 years. For the Leahy Bowl, it's only 1 year for McDonald's.
Right.
Councilman Sprinkle, would you care to amend that
Yes.
motion? And Councilman Hockett, would you second that?
Yes.
Very good.
And Nell did actually turn in a security deposit and a $1. So we didn't need the dollar, she said to keep it as a donation, because she wasn't actually officially part of the bid. I did verify with city attorney that we could do that. Ultimately, once we don't have a bid, we can negotiate. Rich was right there.
Yep.
She's willing to do it. We don't have anyone else knocking on our doors right now.
That's what I was gonna ask the attorney. We can accept her bid because of the bid process. We bid, there was no bid, so we're open to negotiation.
Exactly.
So ultimately, hers is no longer considered a bid.
No, it's not. It was,
We negotiated with her.
yeah.
So negotiated a contract.
Yes.
Do we need to change the motion?
No,
Okay.
no,
Uh,
it covers because you're only awarding a contract.
Okay. My second question is, I don't claim to be an attorney, but a $0 bid, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, typically speaking, when somebody is making an offer for something, most people and most contracts would recognize the necessity of having consideration, which the law says is $1 or more.
Yeah.
In something like this, it's not going to be technically required because making the offer and having it accepted by council also constitutes consideration, even without $1 attached to it.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions?
So what do we need to do as far as Bailey's?
I think it's fair, based on the recommendation today, when Nell Schlomer stopped in at 1:15, her intention was to bid the McDonald's Park, but when it became evident that Bailey's may be available also due to a lack of bidder, she would consider it. I think we need to give her a phone call and continue a negotiation process as the city of Winter and see if she is truly still interested in it. And if she is, we can award that at the next meeting.
Okay.
With council approval, of course. All right, council, the motion on the table is to award the concession stand bid to the Winter Baseball Association for Leahy Bowl on a 3-year bid and to Nell Schlomer for McDonald's Field on a 1-year bid. We will do this motion by a roll call vote. Councilman Schramm?
Aye.
Councilman Klent?
Yes.
Councilman Hockett?
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle?
Yes.
And Councilman Clay?
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Item number 6, council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to set the annual Board of Equalization for March 20th at 5 PM.
Second.
Councilman Klunt has made a motion to set the annual Board of Equalization for March 20th at 5 PM. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. Floor is open to comment or question.
This is our annual meeting that we're required by the state to have. What this is we get a list of all the property owners in the city of Winter and from the county assessor. And if anyone has any issues, they have a form they fill out, a written request to the city. and to the school board. There's supposed to be a school board person in attendance in this meeting as well, because they actually get the majority of property taxes. So I've sent out a request that one of them attends, but what Janice has always said in the past, if someone has something that they'd like to dispute, talk to her first. She usually can get it solved before it even comes here. So that list will be available in my office tomorrow.
Council, are there any questions? Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of setting the annual Board of Equalization meeting for March 20th at 5 PM, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Item 7 has been removed from the agenda for this evening. Let's move on to item number 8 for consideration. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjust the wages of Matt Schroeder in the Water Department for passing their wastewater Class 2 exam to $22.56 per hour.
Is there a second to this motion?
I would second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Kalenda has made a motion to adjust the wages of Matt Schroeder, in the Water Department for passing his wastewater collection Class 2 exam to $22.56 an hour, and that motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. Floor is open to comment or question from council. Hearing none, Chair will call the question of council. All those in favor of adjusting the wages of Matt Schroeder in the Water Department for passing his wastewater collection Class 2 exam, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Item number 9. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion for Resolution 2023-1, City of Winter Policy Book,
To approve?
to approve.
Is there a second to this
I
motion?
would second that.
Thank you, Councilman Schramm. Councilman Clay has made a motion to approve the Resolution 2023-1, City of Winter Policy Book. That resolution motion has been seconded by Councilman Schramm. Floor is open to comments or questions, council.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Jensen.
If I might just explain to council and to the public, what's in front of the council here tonight basically adopts formally and enforceably all of the policies that are already in place. There's been raised a question as far as whether or not they were adopted from the standpoint of being able to actually enforce them. And the answer is, without going through the process that the South Dakota statute requires for municipalities' policies to become enforceable, they need to be law. Well, in order to become law, they have to be either adopted through an ordinance or through a resolution. Without that, this is kind of the way we want everything to be done. This is the way we try to do the thing. Now, if council adopts this, then it becomes the equivalent of law.
Council, are there questions?
If I may,
Yes,
for the public, so the resolution that's being passed is one short page. We opted to not publish this entire book, because the Winter Advocate may love us, but we're not going to publish the whole book. The whole book in its entirety will be available in the finance office for anyone to review. If I am able to get this into the newspaper for Wednesday, it would be published this Wednesday. That's not a guarantee because we are past the deadline, so it may be next Wednesday. The public has 20 days at that point in time, once it's published, to refer. They would not have to refer the entire book in whole. They could refer one policy if they want to. They could refer one section of one policy, and then the rest of it would go through. There is a process for that, so if anyone has questions on that process, they're more than, they can come ask me, they can go ask another attorney, but we would make sure to get that done. There are a few changes to what we did have as the book that ultimately was put together in March of 2021 and then added to as policies were passed. The majority of the changes that you will see are because they're redundant or already in ordinance. So we deleted the policy that's technically already in a law. The only other change that happened was in your procurement and conflict of interest policy and in your purchase order policy. What we did is we added state statute 5-18A-11 subsection 1. What that is that requires for anything over $4,000 in services or supplies, any one item of services or supplies, and the state does include equipment into that at that point in time by their definition. So any one piece over 4,000 is required to get, or at least attempt to get, 3 quotes. What my office will do in order to help support that, the mayor and I have been working on a form that every department head and appointed will have. That form, they will fill out who the 3 quotes are from. That'll be submitted with payment for invoice, and then it will come back to my office and it will be scanned in with the invoice for anyone to view. And with it being scanned in with the invoice, it'll also be available when the claims are being reviewed in a council meeting. There are a few things that are exempt from that, which will be listed on that form, such as equipment repairs are exempt from those services contracts. But otherwise, these policies that are here, almost all of them, I'd say 80 to 90% of them have actually been handed down to us from either federal or state grants that we've been given and requirement of the city to have them.
Any other, go ahead.
Sorry, it does have more than just spending policies in this book. Ultimately, that's what I have concentrated on is the spending policies. There's a couple council policies, public participation, council members participating in mediation. There's some law enforcement ones, fingerprinting, check writing, and then several city property policies. If you're going to use the pistol range, Leahy Bowl, block off a street, different things like that, those policies are also listed in here.
Counselor, are there any other questions? Hearing none, Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. I'll start with Councilman Klein.
Yes.
Councilman Hockett.
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle.
Yes.
Councilman Clay.
Yes.
Councilman Schram.
Aye.
The ayes have it, this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Item number 10 tonight. Council, is there a motion on this item?
I'll make the motion that we purchase agreement with Mid Dakota Equipment in a total of $12,545 with a $4,485,000 down payment.
Is there a second to this motion?
I would second that, Mr. Mayor, and then maybe we can tell everybody what it's for.
Gotcha.
It should be part of the motion.
Oh.
It really should.
Okay.
What it's for.
For the purchase of a
Oh.
washer and dryer.
For a high-tech, space-age washer and dryer.
We can shorten that up.
Oh,
Just a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
I'll
commercial,
modify my
no,
second.
commercial washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Put that in,
For which department?
because
This would be for the corrections department. Yeah. Councilman Hockett has made a motion to approve a purchase agreement with Mid Dakota Equipment in the total amount of $12,545, which includes a $4,485 down payment for a washer and dryer at the corrections department. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Schram. Floor is open to comment or question.
So the 12,500,
Go ahead,
the
Councilman.
$12,545 purchase price, you said it includes $4,485. So the purchase price isn't 16, 17,000. That's correct. Yeah, okay. The motion was a little unclear there. Was this a budget for item? It seems like we've been talking about this for a year or two, a washer and dryer.
This one actually was appropriated during our last session. In August, I think the appropriation actually was $10,900, but with the cost of shipping and metals going up, the prices went up. Public Safety Commissioner Day.
We did go through the process as well and get 3 quotes
Yeah.
on that. So that was followed.
Just seems like we've been talking about this washer and dryer thing for a
We wanted it for a
while.
long time.
Long.
we don't have to anymore.
It's space age.
Yeah. Did we buy the extended warranty and all that too? Space age washer and dryer?
It's huge, it does everything except throw the stuff in.
It folds them
It
for
does
you too?
everything else, it'll fold them at the
It
end.
will fold it, okay. Did you write that down?
For the record, that is not true.
Okay, sorry.
But it would be cool.
Joe's job to fold them.
Okay.
I would like to state, if I may, there's been a lot of discussion on whether or not the city can do prepayments. So, city attorney and I did do some investigating. State statute 526-2, which is deadlines of payments, does state as long as it is within a contract and the council approves the contract with the prepayment noted, then you can approve prepayments.
Correct.
But council has to approve that contract.
That's why the
And
contract
that's what we're
appears.
doing right here.
That is correct.
That is
I just wanted to make that clear why, in case you hear in the future, you can't do that, you can't do a prepayment. Well, we did that on a washer and dryer. That's because it was contractual and you're putting it in there. The invoice actually has a place for both places to sign.
Otherwise, is it a 3-year deal?
It's a one-time
This
purchase.
purchase agreement, is it a 3-year purchase agreement?
Nope.
I don't think so.
You'll
It
write the
says
check for it at the end of the year, as soon as
remainder
you
of
receive
payment
it.
due prior to equipment being loaded on a truck for shipment. That's not stretching out very long,
Thank you.
yeah.
One of them, I believe, is due in April, one, I believe, in August. I think that's what it says on there. Did I read that
It
wrong?
just says remainder of payment due prior to equipment being loaded on a truck for shipment. I bet we're paying for it all right away. Estimated arrival, April. ETA, April 23. We're paying for it sooner than August. That's what it says, and
Oh, yep. The washer is April, the dryer is June.
Councilman Clay, did you hear that?
uh,
The washer is in April, the dryer is in August.
June.
Or June.
June
sorry.
2023, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
One will be
right,
wore out
same
before we
thing
get the
I'm
other
reading.
one.
Might possibly be. All right,
Non-refundable.
council, any other questions or comment? Hearing none. Chair will call the question by a roll call vote. Councilman Hockett,
Aye.
Councilman Sprinkle,
Yes.
Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Schramm,
Aye.
and Councilman Clint.
Yes.
The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously, 5-0. Final item for consideration tonight under new business. Is there a motion from council?
I'd make a motion to pay the claims, Mr. Mayor.
Does that include the donations that were approved previously tonight, added to this list of $25,000 to the Chamber of Commerce and $25,000 to the South Central Economic Development Corporation?
No, it does not. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay?
I'll make a motion to pay the claims, including the $225,000 donation.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Councilman Hockett has made a motion to pay the claims for the city of Winter as presented and to include two $25,000 donations, one to the Chamber of Commerce and one to South Central Development Corporation. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Sprinkle. At this time, the floor is open to comment or question, council.
Mr. Mayor, may I speak to the claims list and how it may be different in the future
Yes, ma'am.
after you passing that resolution? You'll notice that there are several items on your claims list that show that they are more than $4,000. A majority of those are going to be contractual. There is one item on there that I could find that was technically outside of a contractual and more than the $4,000. However, this policy has not gone through yet, and so there was one $9,000 piece of equipment that was on there. Previous to you passing this policy, that was not part of it. That was falling under the $50,000 bid law, and that was it. Otherwise, it's repairs that fall underneath bid law exemptions, or it's contractual. What we will do, and what Holly has been advised to do as accounts payable, is until we receive that form with those invoices, they will not even make it to the claims list. So if one slips through, you are more than welcome to ask anytime there's something over that. Is it contractual? Is it exempt? Or do you have all three?
Questions, council? Hearing none, Chair will call the question. All those in favor of paying the claims for the City of Winter, including the $25,000 donation to Chamber of Commerce and the $25,000 donation to the South Central Development Corporation, would you please say aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, would you please say nay? The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0. There are no executive sessions for this evening. Council, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Councilman Sprinkle has made a motion to adjourn at 7:31 PM. That motion has been seconded by Councilman Clunt. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and this motion will pass unanimously 5-0.